You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amber TV.
Mutumbo, mama yo, na ya boy go get her. Blue Jay Brothers. Mama you kind, mama you're beautiful, mama you good, mama you're wonderful. No woman like you, mama. No woman like you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. 'Cause you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I go love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. From small beginning, I never forget all the suffer when you suffer for me. Oh yeah, yeah. All the pain and the troubles where I put you through. I remember when money no be there and chop no be there for her. You be the try your best. You go run around to find us something where we go chop. When I dey sick, you know the sleep. You go the cry all night. You go hold me tight, start to pray, say God make you help my baby. Oh Lord, ooh, I wo yeah yeah chama. I funga na better yeah funga chama. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb chama. Enga na chinu yeah ga chama. Mama, I wo yeah yeah chama. I funga na better yeah funga chama. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb chama. Enga na chinu yeah ga chama. Yeah ga chama, mama. Enga na chinu yeah ga chama. Chinu yeah ga chama. Oh, you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I will love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. You're my motivation. You gave me the best education, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you. Now it's special dedication to you. Oh yeah. I know say every night and day you pray say make a mama. The God where you the pray I'm for heaven done. Give me this inspiration, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you. Now to show my appreciation to you. Oh be a warrior yeah chama. I funga na better yeah funga chama. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb chama. Enga na chinum yeah ga chama. Mama warrior yeah chama. I funga na better yeah funga chama. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb chama. Enga na chinum yeah ga chama. Chinum yeah ga chama. Chinum yeah ga chama. Chinum yeah ga chama.
Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is my Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amber TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amber TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amber TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amber TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much.
are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amber TV.
Hello there. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. My name is Ma Patience, and I'm your host today. You must have noticed that we have two hosts. Certain days I host the show, and on other days, Lady Casey hosts the show. So I want to start by greeting everyone watching all over the diaspora. Those of you watching from Homefront, those of you watching from Ground One, I welcome you to our show, The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. Today with us, we have a special guest. She's going to come on the screen in a moment. Her name is Professor Beatrice Epote, pardon me, and she is the Secretary of State for the Department of Education and Statistics Planning and Collaboration. And she also doubles down as the chair lady for the county Kupe Manugoba. And currently, she is the chair of chairs. Professor Epote, welcome to the Horizon. You're not a stranger here. You've been here once before. But we want to specially thank you for coming a second time. Welcome to the Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman.
Can you hear me?
5 on 5.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mape. Thank you for that warm welcome. Thank you for having me on Horizon again. It's my pleasure to be here. Greetings to all Ambazonians, all ABC Amber TV viewers. Greetings, special greetings to our ARFs and to all our suffering people. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you again. Thank you once more. A lot has been happening in our struggle for international recognition. We've gone through ups and downs, and today's topic, we just decided to talk on two main things. And I just wanted to start by us delving into the first topic, which is the fight for international recognition, stakeholders versus actors. This is a really big topic. It may really take a long time, but we'll just do as briefly a conversation as possible. I want you to start by explaining some words that are out there. Let's just start this conversation by talking about certain words so people understand where we are coming from. What is a stakeholder? Let's start with that. What is a stakeholder?
All right.
Let me rephrase. What does stakeholder means? Let me rephrase. What does stakeholder means?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, a stakeholder is from the word itself. You see, the word is a compound word, stake and holder. And so from that word, you would deduce that we are talking here about something which is at stake, and someone who is part of that something which is at stake. So from that compound word, that is what you can deduce. So a stakeholder will be a person or a group of people with what I'll call legitimate interest in something. So there is something that a person or a group of people are interested in, and legitimately so. So they have what I'll call vested interest in that something, and they can either affect that thing or be affected by that thing in one way or the other. And that is why we are saying they have vested interest in it. They have legitimate interest in it because they know that that thing can either affect them or they can affect that something. Yeah, that's how I would look at stakeholder.
I think your explanation is splendid. I think every Ambazonian or every person listening to us right now gets the meaning of what a stakeholder is. So, based on that definition, one will infer that all Southern Cameroonians, all Ambazonians, have a stake in what is going on in our country, because they either want us to be part of La Republique, or they want us to have our outright independence. What do you say to that?
You are very correct. Every Ambazonian is a stakeholder in our struggle for, well, I wanted to say in our struggle for liberation or recognition, but like you rightly said, there are some who are not for us to be recognized as a nation. There are some who think we should still remain with La République and go into a federation, which is something that was the original plan in any case, and for since 1961 did not work. And I don't know how they think that something that we went into, with clear terms so many years ago has not worked, and they think it is going to work now. So yes, every Ambazonian is actually a stakeholder in what we are going through now as Ambazonians. And as a result, it is our responsibility as Ambazonians to know that what Ambazonia is going through relies on how we as the stakeholders deal with it. If we want Amazonia to be recognized as a nation that it is, then we, the stakeholders, have to come together and speak that language. When we speak different languages, these ones are talking about federation, these other ones are talking of whatever they are talking about, you don't even know. And it weakens our cause. It makes the what is at stake here, which is the status of our nation, to be affected. That's why I said earlier that a stakeholder can either affect or be affected by what is at stake. So we as the stakeholders, the way we react to what is happening in Ambazonia now can either mar or make it. So let us be conscious of the fact that we are affecting the state of our recognition based on the kind of decisions or the kind of parties that we are aligning ourselves with.
Thank you so much, Prof. Okay, let's talk about another word. Let's talk about the word community or communities. I'd like you to explain what that word is, community or communities.
Yes. The word community has some power in it. Once you just say community, there is something about it that makes it a word that you don't just take very lightly. It kind of conveys a sense of togetherness, a sense of I would even say positivity to an extent. It somehow talks to the issue of solidarity and so on. With that in mind, you see that you will refer to a group of people who share something in common. It could be an identity like us, Ambazonians. So they have something, that that brings them together, that makes them to be considered as people of a particular community. They have some kind of narrative that you can pinpoint to them to say you're saying this is a community, there is that identity that you can attach to that group of people. So I would say that it is a group of people who share a story, history, um, aspects of that define them as a people. Um, People with common social, economic, political interest, etc. So yes, I think that is what I'll consider as a community.
Thank you so much. The reason I brought that up is because we've heard from people we consider coup plotters, or people that have left our government and created a power structure, that they use the word communities in trying to present what they are trying to do without really saying that they're a government. So this is the reason I brought that up, for us to say that in the scale of things, a community is smaller than a government. We are the interim government is a big body, and communities, there are smaller communities in this big body, so that you can have a community of women doing something. You can have a community of pastors doing something, a church community, things like that, that can be put together to form this interim government that we have. So in the scale of things, a community is smaller than the interim government. And they use that word
That's right.
because they don't want to push this narrative that we are a country already. Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia is already a country. It's not a community. That's why I brought that word. Let's go to another word, Professor Epote. I like you to tell the difference between leaders, what a leader is. What is a leader? And then we'll talk about how do you consider a leader to a president. Let's differentiate, because sure, a leader can be a president, but there are some leaders that are at a smaller level. So what is the difference between a leader and a president, or how do they relate to each other?
Okay. Well, that's an interesting one. A leader, to me, is somebody who has followers and inspires passion and motivation in those followers. Somebody who has a vision and a path on how to realize that vision. Somebody who ensures that his or her team has what is necessary, for them to achieve their goals. A president is a president is a leader.
Mm-hmm.
A president is an elected official who is serving as the accounting officer of the state, if I can use that word, chief accounting officer of the state, as well as the chief political executive of the country. And he is an elected official who holds that position and is there for the interest of people. So now a president, like I said before, is a leader, but every leader is a president. I think that we need to draw. I can get up and come up with a philosophy of whatever I want to, and then will follow me with my philosophy and whatever. I lead those people. I inspire them. I motivate them, like for that. A leader is somebody who inspires, who motivates, who vision. So I can come up with some vision and attract people to myself, follow me, and then I inspire them, I motivate, so I lead them. But that doesn't make me a president. So yes, I might be a leader in that sense, but that doesn't make me the president of any state whatsoever. But like I said, the president, this is someone who is duly elected by the people to represent them, both as the chief accounting officer of the state of that country and the chief political executive of that country. So he is first of all the one that I've chosen, and then possess those qualities of being a leader. So I, who came up with my group and formed my group, I can't call myself a president. I was elected people to represent them interests politically and state and internally. So I think that is what I will. That is how I will distinguish the two.
Perfect, perfect. Now let's relate that to what is going on in our struggle for international recognition. A few years ago, in October of 2021, I think that's when the first so-called leadership retreat happened in Canada. You had a few names that were considered stakeholders. You had Global Takumbang, you had Skawal, Skew, SNOT, that's Southwest Northwest OT, I'm not sure what it means, the Consortium, SCNC, AMF, 7 Qatar, Psalm 91, the Terminators of Ambazonia, Scope, AIPC, IPOA, AYC, SCYC, SCAF, WCA, DSC, CHRI, Reach Out, and a few others. I'm listing all this to really cement what you've just said. These groups have leaders that lead these groups, but these leaders are not president of a nation. You made a comment. All presidents are leaders, but not all leaders are president. So we are saying to those watching the horizon today that when this struggle started really, immensely in 2017, it morphed from the consortium. Well, it really started with the teachers and lawyers strike, or you all know that. Then they formed the consortium. From there, it became SCACUF. Then from there, it became Governing Council. And then it became the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Throughout this structure, there has been progressive growth to make us bigger and better. And one thing, when you were explaining what a president is, the president is elected. So we had somebody who was elected. Maybe Sissoko was not elected. I think he was. They chose him there. But finally, President Sako was elected. Some of these groups that have leaders, have people that are there, they just lead the group. It is their personal group. There's no accountability. It doesn't matter what they do. He's just there as a leader. And in most cases, you mentioned about followers. Some of this group have no followers. They may have 1 or 2 people that are there. You cannot really say it's a group of 50 membership or 100 membership. You just have a name as a leader, and you don't know who are the followers. So Ambazonian people, brothers and sisters watching, we are explaining this today so you know that this interim government is representing you in the biggest realm of things. You cannot rely on small groups or communities to do what a government can do. You also said something, Professor, that they have things in place. They have, I don't remember I forgot the word that you said. You said they have a vision and a path to follow. they have all the requirements, all the materials that are needed to achieve all this. For example, this interim government does drafting all the time. They have the AID where funds come in to be able to accomplish certain things. Some of these groups that exist, you have no idea what they're doing to pursue this cause for international recognition, because we already call ourselves a restored nation. So if we are already a restored nation, we are only fighting for international recognition, nothing else. But these groups are taking us back because they still think that we are part of La Republic. So that's why I bring all these words for people to understand the differences. And Professor Epote has really explained all of them very well. And then one final word, Professor, the principal actor. I need you to talk a little bit about this. And the president did mention this in his outing recently that he was interviewed by Dr. Mungwa. He went through that. But on this show, The Horizons, we like to expand on what the president says, or not really expand. We like to remind people, our viewers, of that position. So what is an actor or principal actor?
Okay. Mape. Principal actor. Again, that's a compound word. You have principal, you have actor. Now, what it means is that there are different categories of actors. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, okay. So what it means is that there are different categories of actors. And who is an actor, first of all? This is somebody who has a role to play in something. In the common way that we know actors, we know these are people who have roles to play in films, So in our case, it will be somebody who will have a role to play in our quest for recognition. And when we say principal, then we are now saying who is that main individual who has this role to play, who should kind of spearhead this quest for recognition. So principal actor here will simply mean the first in terms of order of importance, the first in our case, who is the first person who has to stand out in terms of our quest for recognition. Who is that person who should be speaking for us, who should be the one talking on behalf of Ambazonian? And this will be somebody that we as Ambazonian have chosen, we have elected, we have said this person will be our mouthpiece. He will tell you, whoever you are, the you there, will tell you what we Ambazonians want. So that to me will be what a principal is. And that has to be someone who is created by the people. That is why the people have to elect that person to say, we are choosing this person as the person who will narrate our part of the story. It has to be somebody whom they trust. And that is why Ambazonians decided to choose President Samuel Ekomesako to be that actor who, or let me say the IG, to be that principal actor who will narrate the story for Ambazonians. And that IG is headed by President Samuel Ekomesako, and he is speaking as the principal actor on behalf of every Ambazonian.
Absolutely. I hope everyone listening is getting this point from Professor Epote. Well stated. So to make it even clearer, let's put some names. So you have people like Cho Ayaba out there, who has supposed to be the leader of AGOFC, and we know that he is a terrorist. He has kidnapped people, or he's in charge of kidnapping and having people pay ransom. He's even connected to some murders that have taken place in our territory. He is considered an actor by some people. Is he a principal actor? No, because he doesn't have the wherewithal to take Southern Cameroons to Boya, meaning that he doesn't have that power to cause our international recognition. That's one right there. Let's go to the next one. Akwanga. He has been an actor for a while, but is he an actor now? What exactly is he doing? He's a leader of APLM, which is an African People's Liberation Movement. Why African People Liberation Movement? What has that got to do with Ambazonia? In fact, there was a tweet that he had at least a year ago that said that he's out of the struggle. I am surprised I'm seeing his name appearing again. I mean, there is a tweet. If you go you're on Twitter, you can look for that tweet that he said he's out of the struggle. So he is not a principal actor. So that comes out. Let's talk about Siseko Ayub Tabu, who is in jail. What can he do? He has his vice president, Yeremia, attending meetings in Canada just for luxury, having fun. But can they deliver? The answer is no. So, and what other name is that? Of course, we know about the fake person that left this government, had all the intentions of squandering our funds and making us irrelevant, and he failed. I don't want to even call his name, but I will call him. He calls himself Comrade. We know about him. Is he a principal actor? The answer is no. So we bring all this to tell you, people watching from the home front, from ground one, all over the diaspora, that the only actor, the principal actor that is working hard because he has the structures in place, as the professor said, he is elected, he has followers, we have the plans and the means to execute. The only one, the principal actor, is President Sako. And the way our structure is that for whatever reason, God forbid, he is no longer the president, anybody who takes over his position as the president of the interim government will be the principal actor. So the government, the IG, already has a structure. And that leads me to our next topic, Professor. You are currently the chair of chairs for the interim government. I'd like you to, in context of what we've talked about, just explain to our viewers and listeners this building block that the interim government has to make sure that it's able to execute thoroughly our quest for international recognition.
Yes, I think if there is one thing that we should be very proud of, it's we are organized as a government. We have that. Can you hear me?
I hear you, although you're breaking up a little bit, but I hear you.
Okay.
I think the
yes.
internet may
So
be a bit problematic.
Yeah, the internet is a bit of a challenge, I think. So I was saying that one thing that we can be very proud of is the fact that we have solid structures in place for the quest of recognition that we are on. I think this is one area we really, really, really have to applaud our president. These structures are clear. If you say you are Amazonian, you have to belong. And for you to belong, you have to go back to your roots. It's as simple as that. The roots are the LGAs and the counties. You can't be an Ambazonian without belonging to a LGA and county. So if people don't identify themselves with their LGAs and their counties, then I know the kind of Ambazonians that they say they are. And maybe those to whom the language of GA and counties may not be very familiar, it's not different from what we have currently, where we villages, for instance, clans. So we have just made, I don't want to say modification, but just giving them, more more modern relations. So you can't, you can't be saying that you are from a particular clan, for instance, if you cannot identify your village in that clan. If you don't point to say this village, people of that clan will not, they won't recognize you. They will say, no, we don't know you. Where is your village? Where do you come from? Where are your parents from? And so on. So if you claim Ambazo and not known by your LGA and your county, then you are not an Ambazonian. Who are you representing? So what I will, on behalf of the county chairs and the LGA chairs, I will call on every Ambazonian to please go back to their roots. Join your LGAs and present your views on Ambazonia LGAs. LGA chairs and your county chairs will present those views to the principal actor, who will then be able to speak on our behalf, because he will not be talking, he will not be speaking on his own. He will be talking based on what the people have, asked him to tell the rest of the world, the so-called international, I'm sorry using the word so-called, but that word international community is another thing that you don't know what kind of elephant it is. But we let us go back and please join our LGAs, our counties, and speak through our counties and our LGAs, and through those structures, the officer of Ambazonia will be able to take our views to whatever level those views have to be taken to. And I think that will make our quest for recognition to be easier and even faster. We will be recognized faster if we put our together in the.
Well said, Prof. In fact, when you were talking about all this distinction, it just occurred to me that when we're growing up, depending on where you lived, you were living in those days as if somebody is staying in the state for coast. So you're living in Boya, Victoria, you're living in the coast, and when somebody passed on, they had to take them to their village to be buried. It still happens most of the time that when you pass, you are buried in your village of origin. So with that in mind, this structure that we have, LGA, local government area, and then we have county structure, is such a powerful system that makes us unique from La République du Cameroon. Most of us know our languages that are unique for those areas. You will not expect somebody that is living in Bamenda now and has lived in Bamenda all his or her life, but the parents come from, say, somewhere in Yaoundé, to relate to us because that person's language origin is from Yaoundé or Bassa or whatever. That person, when the person passes on, there will not be any place in our area for that person to be buried because they originally didn't come from that. Right. They may get buried in the church premises or in anything like that because they don't have any place to go. But belonging to an LGA is the key. That's the root. That's what makes you a Southern Cameroonian or an Ambazonian. And unfortunately, some people do not realize that this is the power. This is the common ground for unity. Those who are crying for unity for purpose, this is the common ground for unity. Go, if you really want our plight to be internationally recognized, for us to become the 55th country in Africa, go back to your LGA, work at that level, at your LGA, and we'll get there soon. Let me ask one more question on this topic. So we have a lot of Ambazonians. Oh, you've already said it. You've already advised everybody, but I just want to bring out some names that people that left this government for one reason or the other. Because in the days of Ayuk Tabe, they used to have mostly countries. They had countries coordination, so they were dealing more in terms of regions, like region in Europe. They had regions in Europe. They had regions in the United States of America. They were not really focused in the representative aspect of our structure back home. So this LGA county is the best thing because it connects us to the people back home. Remember that this struggle is being fought by those back home. If we did not make this clear and it became something that was just something that was a diaspora related, where you have regions in United States of America and Europe and other parts of, then it would be a diaspora thing. So that has taken it back home to the ground roots, to the grassroots, so that the United States and so that the international community, which will come to, understands that the people that are affected directly are back home in Southern Cameroons, in Ambazonia, in the areas that the people that assimilated us changed our name to Northwest and Southwest. That was never the case before. We have our LGAs. So I'm going to move to a different topic. But before I get there, this word international community came up. I think this is a perfect way to transition to the next topic. The next topic is really dissecting the Hudson Institute meeting and signatories on the referendum press release. Dissecting the Hudson Institute meeting and signatories to the referendum press release. Before we delve into that, what is international? What is the international community?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Like I said before, and you don't even know where to begin with it. It's a term that is generally that generally refers to a group of people and governments of the world. In general terms, that's what in community will mean. You know, a group of governments, people all over the world. In what forum they may want to put themselves. So it is a widely used phrase to refer to that involve different governments, different groups of people around, and I personally don't like that phrase because it gives the impression that there is some common grounds that the world is that that people kind of gather as a community to somehow solve. That's the impression. Solve problems of mankind or deal with issues related to mankind all over the world. But one will ask if that is exactly what they are doing, because if the meaning that is asked to this phrase was to be something to reckon with, then we as Ambazonians should not be suffering the way we are suffering. Our people should not be dying the way they are dying, because the impression is it is people, I think we it before. These are people who think they belong together, they share something special, So if we are national, we are giving that impression that we belong together, we share something together, we feel for one another, we if something is affecting you, it is affecting. and so on. But is that really what is happening? That is why I don't like that phrase myself, because like the so-called international community um, comes in when it suits them, where the interest people, it's like people are just looking for after their own interest, and where they don't have when they don't have an interest. And the reason I'm saying this is because this so-called national community um, has key players. Those key players determine what should happen and what should not happen. And when they have an interest, when there is something at stake for them in a particular issue, then you see them there and claiming to be doing whatever, you know, protecting people, the marginalized, and so on. But when they don't interest, when there's nothing at stake for them, they don't care. People die. It happens, and it is still happening in different places in Rwanda. In those happened, still happening now. It is happening in Sudan. I mean, I ask myself question. This thing that is going on in Sudan right now, where is this international community? They ran to Ukraine, like, I don't have to put it,
Right.
And now these are live people dying in other countries. They keep quiet. They pretend as it's happening. Or they try to they are removing their people, taking their people, like saying, let our people come, let them kill themselves. Let them, if they want to kill themselves, let them feed themselves. And then we call ours community. No,
Yeah.
think a community. And the same thing is happening in Amazon. People are dying, are being killed every day. Children are not going, they are in bushes, in refugee camps with horrible, deplorable conditions. Nobody cares. And then we say we are an international. I don't buy phrase myself. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prof. That phrase international community came up when Comrade Paddy, Dr. Paddy interviewed Ambassador Tibo Nash, and he laughed. So, who is the international community? So, for us Ambazonians, I think for a long time we have considered the international community like the United Nations, because they were there when we were supposed to have been granted our independence. We consider the international community as Britain, the international community as the United States of America, as Russia, as France, the big powers, the big five. So those are examples of who we consider international community. But as you say, if these are not stakeholders, so we could relate the word stakeholders to international community. If they don't have any stake in the holding, then they don't act. So it's up to us to make sure that they see that there's a stake at liberating us, because they will benefit one way or the other. They, as you rightfully say, what is happening in Sudan, they are not acting the way they should act to bring some peace and stop the horrible atrocities that are being meted on the people. But when it comes to people that are like us, like them, I hate to say that, like what is happening in Ukraine, they jumped and they assisted Ukraine, So some people are more human than others. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But again, as the president said, international community sometimes will mean that they want you to do so much to the point where they cannot run away from it, meaning that you do so much so that they'll say that, okay, it's time for us to act. Right now, they don't see the need to do anything. At the time, if you remember when this struggle started, there was a time that La Republique cut off internet from for our people, so that they had no access to the world. Some of these people we consider international community reacted then. I remember Congresswoman Karen Bass, at that time she was a congresswoman. She was also on the African Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee for Africa. She wrote lengthily and said something lengthily on this topic, rebuking Cameroon for cutting off internet. I think the pressures from the international committee forced La République to bring back internet, because that was the longest time that any nation in Africa had gone without internet or social media access. So sometimes the international community will act, but they're not acting when you really want them to act, or they ask the question, who is the international committee? We know who the international community is as far as our cases. If only the United Nations had just followed through to do a proper decolonization, they are the right international community that have to handle the decolonization of nations. So they are the ones that's supposed to do that. But right now, they have given us a deaf ear, and we continue to fight for our own freedom. So now let's go to the next topic, which has to do with the dissecting the Hudson Institute meeting and signatories to the referendum press release. I think the best way to handle this, Prof, is for me to read what that brief statement is. Some of you, before I do that, I want to play this briefly. I didn't want to put this on the air in terms of having our technician play the video, but I just want you to listen to this, what this person is saying. You will know the voice.
Share some light with you about our meeting yesterday in Washington, D.C. This is just a brief briefing. A formal statement from the meeting of Washington, D.C. Yesterday will be coming out either late today or sometime tomorrow. But a few of us, leaders and stakeholders in the Ambazonian struggle, met yesterday in Washington, D.C. in a meeting hosted or put together by the Hudson Institute in Washington, D.C. Now, the Hudson Institute is one of the political think tanks in the USA.
Let me pause here for a moment, Prof. So I want to pause here before I play the rest, because I don't want us to lose track of what this person is saying. This person is saying that the statement is going to come out, which I have the statement. We'll read the statement of what they had in the meeting. But a group of them, leaders and stakeholders, we've gone through those words, leaders and stakeholders, met to talk about what was going on, and that their press release will come out, and that this meeting was put on by the Hudson Institute. Okay, we're going to talk about that, because the Hudson Institute did not put on this meeting, but we'll explain. Let's continue.
You know of the Hudson, if you know of the Hoover Foundation, you know of the Heritage Foundation, you know of UCIP, United States International Peace Institute. You know of, that is what the Hudson Institute, that is the rank of the Hudson Institute. So the meeting yesterday was summoned by the Hudson Institute to bring Ambazonian leaders together. I can assure you that I think almost every Ambazonian leader was invited to that meeting. Did all attend? Of course not. There were many who were not able to attend for one reason or the other. But quite a number.
Okay, I want to pause there. Okay, there's a lot to talk about, but let's just go straight to explaining something. And Prof, then I'll let you talk. You know that we got wind of the fact that this meeting was not called by the Hudson Institute. Let's make Ambazonians understand. The Hudson Institute did not call this meeting, because when you put it that, when this fellow liar, well, I should say, when this liar who calls himself comrade goes on his airways and said that this meeting was called by the Hudson Institute, it was not called by the Hudson Institute. I'm here to do some more research on that to find out who really was the one, because somebody from one of these so-called leaders must have reached out to them to host this meeting. The president has said that people meet all over the place to take care of this Amazonian struggle. There are meetings all over the place. So that just happened to be a location where this meeting took place. And to prove that, our Professor Ayim did some research, and I've gone back and looked into it to prove that if you go to the calendar, I'm telling every Amazonian, you can go do it yourself. If you go to Hudson Institute event calendar and look at their calendar of events, you will not see this meeting featuring there. They have a lot of meetings that are dated April this, April 1, April 2, April 3. They have their calendar of events. If this one was put by them, this would have surfaced on their calendar of events. So that's number one thing. Number two, he mentioned that all the leaders, the stakeholders, everybody was invited. They had a selected core people that were invited, because whoever is the one that brought this meeting must have reached out to the person called Mr. Jeff Mesovi to ask him if they can host it, and gave a list of people that they would want. So they have their own list of people that they want to invite, right? And that was exactly what happened. We'll go through the letter and read to you. Prof, I don't know if you want to say something before I read the letter that the press release. Do you want to say something to say to that effect?
No, not really. I think you have actually highlighted the fact that so-called conference, or whatever they call it, was not something that was orchestrated by the institute. It was individuals. We know that it was individuals, and like you rightly said, of course, they will give names of people that they know have the same fakers like themselves, so that they go there and claim, like we will see later, that they agreed on things that they know, otherwise not be the case. If indeed it was a genuine conference that was organized by an independent body that has nothing at stake, and just in seeing Ambazonia together to talk, so of course they had to do a selection of people and go there, come up with fake resolutions which are not a representative of what the people of Ambazonia want.
Absolutely. So let me show you this as a proof of what I was talking about. Just a moment, please. Let me choose this date here, 13th. I hope that works to set. Okay, so this is the calendar of the Hudson Institute in terms of what happened. So this is April 21st. I don't know if you guys can see this. So I'll just read it. April 21st, they had event handoff, the foreign policy George Washington, George W. Bush passed to Barack Obama. And then on April 24th, their event was winning in Ukraine is critically important for deterring a war in Taiwan. April 25th, a new architecture for Northern Eurasia, the sixth free nation of post-Russia forum. So basically on April 24th, when this so-called meeting took place, it's not featured on their event, on their calendar. So I just want everyone to understand that they just hosted this group of people. It would have been a meeting that could have taken place in my living room, and I would not have called it that. It was hosted by the Hudson Institute. It could have taken place in Professor Epote's office at Southern, in where she is, pardon me. You will not call it that. It's a meeting that was put on by Hudson Institute. That's first thing. But let me read what Comrade said would come out. One more thing. This statement that I'm going to read, the letterhead has Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. I take note to details. Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. Why does it have Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall as the letterhead? Do you know that Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall is that forum where you have Maggie Kilo, you have Fontem Neba is the leader of that town hall. They meet occasionally. I don't know whether it's once a month or twice a month, but you would have seen some of their flyers out there in the past. This statement is coming on their letterhead. That tells you how fishy these people are in trying to pass on this referendum thing, because that's all they've been working on in the background from Temneba. So let's read the letter. We, the members of the Southern Cameroonian, also referred to as Ambazonian community, joined together on the 24th day of April 2023 in Washington, D.C. to discuss a means for ending permanently the devastating war by the Cameroonian government and the continuing suffering of our sisters and brothers living in former trust territory of British Southern Cameroons, hereafter Southern Cameroons. While our community holds divergent views on what the ideal solution would be for Southern Cameroonians to achieve the rights outlined by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as adopted by the United Nations General Assembly as Resolution 217 on 10th December 1948 and United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1608 of April 21, 1961, granting independence to Southern Cameroons, we are all agreed that the people of Southern Cameroons must have an opportunity to exercise their right of self-determination. Furthermore, we agreed that a genuine, just, and inclusive peace process that allows every Southern Cameroonian to exercise their right to self-determination through internationally organized and monitored referendum in compliance with international instruments, with option to choose between independence and other forms of self-governance, is the only credible way of achieving justice and lasting peace. While the details of such a referendum will be worked out in subsequent consultations, this referendum must be exclusive to the people of the former trust territory of British Southern Cameroon and conducted in a peaceful, demilitarized Southern Cameroons with a peacekeeping force protecting the civil and political rights of all Southern Cameroons. I'll end there for now. Some key words. Prof, they mentioned the statement, we the members of Southern Cameroonians community joined together on the 24th of April. I want to talk to you about this. You already explained the meaning of community, and we've already decided how community differs from a big body called a government. Can you put Professor back on the screen? Let's have this conversation. Thank you. So the fact that they are saying that they are a Southern Cameroonian community joining together. Prof, talk about this. If they were all under the banner of the interim government, how would this be different from what this appears?
Right. Of course, if they were all under the interim government, we're speaking different language from what is written. I don't know what Ambazonia needs. It's not a referendum, clearly. That's not what we need. A referendum or whatever it's a mechanism to sample opinion, right? And what opinion are you sampling in among Ambazonians? Because as Ambazonians, we know we are a nation.
Mm-hmm.
That we know. Are you coming to ask us whether we are a nation or we are not a nation? Or what exactly are you coming to ask us? It's like, I don't know, somebody coming to you to somebody meets you in your house and asks you, do you to stay in this house or not, or stay in another house. I don't even know how to put it. I've been trying to wrap my finger around this referendum thing. And truly speaking, I have the impression that this bunch of people, that names that you read, who claim on Hudson, whatever, is, I impression they are not Ambazonians. Because if they were
Absolutely.
Ambazonians, they will not sit there and claim that they have come a solution. And that solution to the Ambazonian problem is a referendum. For crying out loud. Is that really what they sat there to do? Um, it seems to me that these people, of course, I think it is clear to everyone that they have an agenda. They are driving somebody's agenda, and definitely it's not Ambazonian agenda. And therefore, to me, they are non-existent in the sense that they are not talking to issue. They are not representing Ambazonia in any way. So, I mean, the world, we have freedom of speech in the world. Everybody has the right to get up and say what they want, claim whatever they want to claim. I can decide today I am an American. Nobody will stop me from saying that. And they won't do anything to as an American. But then the where the Americans will be waiting for me will be for me to come now and maybe try to claim some which are meant for American citizens. That is when they will show me that, hey, you can go out there and make noise that you are an American, but you access to this. We don't recognize you as an American. So people can go there, claim that they are representing Ambazonia or whatever, but let the real and the real decision making that has to do with the future of Ambazonia and the recognition of Ambazonia, when that time comes, they will know that they don't have a place. And the real person whom Ambazonians have chosen, that is President Samuel Nkomisako, will speak on behalf of Ambazonians, say what Ambazonia wants. But it is definitely not a referendum.
Thank you so much, Prof. Just as far as this press release is concerned, referring to themselves as while our community holds divergent views on what the ideal solution would be for Southern Cameroons to achieve the rights, that also is already a false statement, because the interim government's position, and we represent the overwhelming majority of people, and that's even why Ambazonia Coalition Team was created in the first place. The position has always been for an internationally for internationally mediated settlement, where the two parties, La République du Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon's government, Ambazonia, the federal interim government, sit on the table and talk about this issue. So that position, unless these people are saying that that is not the view of the communities that they call themselves, that has always been the position of most people, that you need to go to the table and find the root cause of the problem. Even that international community that we call the United States of America's Congress had a resolution on this. And I think that is very powerful, that if people cannot put enough pressure based on what the United States of America has already said, and they're trying to, reinvent the wheel and find a different solution that will not work. As you clearly said, somebody is behind this. And you know that somebody is behind this because I don't know that if you know this, Prof. This flyer this thing that I'm reading that has Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall is all the hallmark of Fontem Neba. Fontem Neba, who is a federalist. That is all the hallmark. He is the leader behind this international town hall that they meet every now and then. And Yamagi Kilo is also there. So when you see they are the ones that a letterhead has their, a press release has their letterhead, you know where this is coming from. So, Comrade, Mr. Comrade, and all the other people are in bed with Fontem Neba. That is the bottom line. Fontem Neba is a federalist. He wants federation. And they are thinking that if they go this referendum route, they will just muddy the waters because, of course, La Republique will go ahead and mess up all things because, as the president has clearly stated, who's going to be the ones controlling the referendum, the processes? La Republique. And what will be the outline? Yeah. What will be the outcome? What will be the outcome? Southern Cameroons will not come out successful in any referendum that is conducted because the main person that is going to carry out the process is La Republique du Cameroon. And we know that you can have an election where you have 100 people voting for something. The results will come out, 1,000 people have voted for something. So that's what will happen in La Republique du Cameroon. So let me read on further in terms of who we mentioned that we're going to talk about the signatories to this press release, those who attended and signed to it. So many people were invited, but according to Comrade, but these are the ones that attended. Present at the meeting, Harrison Abinte, representing citizen of Ambazonia. I don't know what that means, or maybe he's just a citizen of Ambazonia. That's the qualification that they gave him. Harrison Abinte, citizen of Ambazonia. Geoffrey Akame Chris Ano, and Chris Ano has himself as president of the interim government of Ambazonia. I thought he was Comrade. Now he calls himself president. Thomas Asongwe, member of SCAPO. Henry Obam Atem, Elvis Cometa, chair the Southern Cameroons National Council, SCNC, North America. Ato Muchua, Conrad Moon, SCNC. Some of these names I'm not familiar with who they are. Augustine Ndanga, National Chair of Southern Cameroons People's Organization, SCAPO. Herman Dofo, Edwin Gang, citizen of Ambazonia. So I think these groups are probably affiliated with Pagoji Dinka. And then Judy Nwana, Chair of Coalition of Dialogue and Negotiations. We know already that they are more affiliated with Federation and that. Emma Osong, Executive Director, Women for Permanent Peace and Justice. I'll say briefly something here. Emma Osong and I used to be very close. I'm just go on record and say that we don't have the closeness that we used to have because we've parted ways. So let me put that on record that we've parted ways. But I say this because this group, Women for Permanent Peace and Justice, came in existence because of our Ambazonian women. We were the force behind the creation of this group. And right now, we are not part of the group, to put the record straight, because I don't want statements to come out that my patients was on air and supported Women for Permanent Peace and Justice. They will do what they are doing. We are not part of Women of Permanent Peace and Justice, just a disclaimer. Valerie Sanyangong, President, Southern Cameroonians in Canada. Okay, I've read the list. We talked earlier about community, stakeholders, principal actors, and all the like. All these names that I've listed, what can you tell me, Professor Epote? How do they stand in terms of who the principal actor is and what can they deliver?
Right. These are groups and individuals who, for one reason or the other, have something which they consider is at stake also in the recognition quest, in our recognition quest. They may have different views towards that. Some are unionist, as I hear. Some are federalist, and so on. But that, like I said, so these are leaders in their own way, with their own views. So you are a unionist, and then you draw people behind you who believe in that vision of yours, and you people go ahead and do whatever you are doing. You are a federalist. You have drawn people, some people are moving with whatever you are doing, but does not give you the right to say you are representing Ambazonia, because your vision or what you are driving is Ambazonia. It's not Ambazonians' vision. It's not what Ambazonians want. So remain your leader in your zone and in your lane, and toe your line, but don't come to issues that are not within your jurisdiction. Because as a federalist, what do you have to do with the quest for international recognition of Ambazonia as a nation?
Yeah.
Nothing. There is absolutely nothing there for you. You don't have a stake there. As a unionist, you don't have a stake in Ambazonia fighting for its quest for international recognition. You don't have a stake there. So sit where you are. Stay on your lane. I mean, that is easy. We don't even need to be all the fighting and whatever even be there, because we are not on the same page. We have our own vision. You have yours. Follow yours. Wherever yours will take you, good and fine for you. Go in La Republique. That's your choice. But we have our own route that we have taken. To follow our route. And when we are finally recognized in the in the date, well, you may want to decide whether you are coming to us or not. We don't care. So I would say most people, they themselves leaders. They can be leaders of themselves, leaders of themselves, family, friends, or what. But then they should not come into our territory. Our territory is that of international recognition of Ambazonia as a country, as a nation. So that is our sphere. They shouldn't do that, because they don't believe in that. So let them stay where they are. We won't come into their own territory. We have nothing to do with federalists, so we won't go there. Let them also not come here. Let them stay. So they shouldn't go to so-called international conferences and say they are deciding for us. No, they shouldn't. They are trespassing, actually.
They are really trespassing, and to really validate the statement that they are trespassing, this is what they said in that press release. Furthermore, we agree that a genuine, just, and inclusive peace process that allows every Southern Cameroonian to exercise their right to self-determination through internationally organized and monitored referendum in compliance with international instruments, with option to choose between independence and other forms of self-governance, is the only credible way of achieving justice and lasting peace. So that is really stating that they are trespassing, because if you already on the 1st of October 2017 restored your independence, you already did that. You already continued the government that existed in the days of Joa, that I'm wearing this to. I think I have this picture here somewhere. Our independence is right there. If you're doing that, or if you've already done that, why will you come in 2023 and ask a referendum to confirm whether you're already a country by all rights, an independent nation. The reason is because you have individuals that are on a different pathway. They have their own goals, and they are here to
Yeah.
muddy our water, bring confusion,
Mm.
and give the impression to the international community that we are not speaking with one voice. And that is exactly the problem. Because the international community, we should have been listening only to the interim government that has one vision only.
Yeah.
And they are asking that La Republic comes to the table with Southern Commons for us to find the root cause of the problem and find ways to achieve permanent peace where we will exist as good neighbors, because we've already restored our nation. I don't know why it's people like Comrade, who calls himself a president of a nation, cannot even understand that simple thing. That's why he's confused. One day he's Comrade, the other day he's president. He's confused. Prof, we're almost getting to the end of the program, but let's tie this down to what we have now, because we know that we have our LGA structures, our county structures, and all these communities, all these groups that are out there cannot compete with what we have, LGAs and counties and the federal government. They cannot compete because they're only groups. You could have a group with a leader. You can have 2 or 3 people that are members of a group and they have a leader and their name is on that piece of paper. How you compare that with a whole LGA that represents all the people in Santa, LGA that represents all the people in Santa that are under our structures, that are already independent Santa LGA? How do you compare 2-man group, 3-man group, and all the like that put their name on a structure on a piece of paper, thinking that they are speaking for us? So, as you give your final statements before your closing statement, I need you to just put everything together for us.
Thank you so much, Mapi. I think it's clear that these people present one by themselves and maybe their family members. And not, I won't even go as far as saying their family members, maybe themselves and their because children may not have a choice because some of their family members are not in line with them, even what they are, what they are doing. So one, I will still make that request to all Ambazonians. Don't be deceived by these sweet talkers, if I can call them like that. Don't be deceived by them. Go to your roots. Join your LGAs, join your counties for those not yet done so. I believe in the saying that destiny can never be changed. It can be delayed, but it can never be changed.
Amen.
Ambazonia was destined to be a nation. That was God's plan. And that plan God has for Ambazonia can never be changed. Nobody can change it. All along, it has only been delayed, but it comes to manifestation. It must come to pass. The children of Israel in the desert, 40 years. But there was already a destiny for them. God had already destined the whole of Canaan. He had given it to them long before. So even though they were in the desert for 40 years, it did not stop them from, getting God had destined for them. So Ambazonians who are not yet their local governments and their counties, on behalf of all the county chairs and all the LGA chairs, I'm calling on you to please locate your LGAs and counties and be part of sweet history of Ambazonia. That is already, we are at the end of the tunnel. It's already towards the end. Before you know it, Ambazonia will be raised, a nation, and everything will be history And I believe that you and I want to be part of that sweet of Ambazonia. So join your local government, join your council, and be part of this history.
Prof, I like the statement you made. Destiny delayed is not destiny changed. I like that. So I think that that is the take-home message to us today, that our destiny boya is engraved and we will get there. In these days of social media, the Israelites did not have social media. That's why they were there for 40 years. In these days of social media, Ambazonia will not take 40 years to be internationally recognized. And even people like Thibault Nash has already, if you follow his tweets, he said, we will get there. We will get there. So I think he believes that, and we believe that, and we know that. So please, thank you for the message that you've given Ambazonians today. You've educated us a lot about these different words that we use randomly: community, leaders, stakeholders. You've reminded us that we, each and every one of us, are stakeholders for our quest for international recognition. We all have to do our own part. If your part is paying your draft, if your part as the ARFs is that they are there on the ground defending homeland, sacrificing their lives, whatever case may be, it's your part. If your part is providing food for ARFs, providing healthcare for ARFs, whatever it is that you're doing your part. And if everyone were to take professors' advice to join the LGA and county and work at that level, who knows, tomorrow you may be the next president of Ambazonia. We never know, right? Because we elect the people that we see are working hard. There is somebody there that has that leadership potential that one day will be the president. It is there, and we just have to exercise our power and make ourselves known. And for those who are supporting all these individuals that have called their names, please, please, if you are family members or friends, tell them that they are trying to delay this destiny that has already been set for us. They are delaying it. Let them just either be quiet or join their LGAs and counties to shorten this journey to Boya. Prof, I'll give you a minute to make your closing remarks, and then we'll end the show for today.
Very much, Mape. Again, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I just want to remind the international community, and I'm saying remind because they know it, they know the truth. So I want to remind them that you cannot take people who are oppressed and tell them to come and sit together and vote with their oppressors. How? And the oppressor has the upper hand. The oppressor is both the player and the referee at the same time. You expect that these oppressed people will come out victorious. You expect that these oppressed people, their voices will be heard. Like you rightly said, we will vote a horse and result that like these people who went Houston will be the one to vote. So they will be there, 10 of them, and the result will show that there were young Ambazonians who voted and who said, no, we want with La Republique. So I'm just calling on the indulgence of the international community to do the right thing. If that phrase is anything to go, let them do the right thing. Let them listen to the people of Ambazonia through the interim government headed by President Samuel Ekomesako, the only interim government that we have in Ambazonia. Let them listen to what are saying through their leader, and let them come to let the right thing and tell our republic and to come to the table. Let us negotiate how we are going to live as peaceful neighbors. We are a God-fearing people. So we will forgive them for all these atrocities that have been committed to our people. We are ready to forgive. God Himself forgives us every moment. Who are we not to forgive others? But we need them to come to the table. Let's talk, and then we will live as good neighbors. There's no way they will never have anything to do with La Republique because they are our neighbors, and also in a way, they are also our brothers and sisters. Just like Nigeria, they are our brothers and sisters. So let them come. Let's talk. Let's do the right thing for the sake of the lives that are perishing. Let us do the right thing. And again, Ambazonians know that they are the main people to determine their future. We have talked about the Israelites and why they were down in the wilderness for those 40 years. We know why, for those of us who read the Bible. So let us not be repeating when we already know a solution. Let's not repeat things that have happened in the past. Maybe they like you said, Mape, there was media then, so maybe they didn't really know what was happening and what have you. But we know. We know what is happening, what we need to do. So Ambazonians, come to your senses and do the right thing also on your part, standing together behind your president through your local governments and your counties. Thank you, Mape.
Thank you so much, Professor Epote. You said one thing that I want to just quickly disagree, but in a nice way. I want to say that yes, we are Christians. We will not forgive them. We will probably conditionally forgive them because they will pay reparations for what they've done for all the lives that we've lost. So if they apologize in a good way, then we'll consider forgiving them. Let me put that condition there because you're right, we are Christians. Thank you so much for coming on the air today. I want to also end this program by saying that tomorrow, Saturday, is ABC Amber TV Day. ABC Amber, you guys know how important ABC is for this, our quest for international recognition. I really need everybody to use the phrase quest for international recognition. We are already a country, for Christ's sake. And these people that are trying to confuse us with referendums and all the like, we are already Southern Commons. So our ABC has an ABC Amber Day tomorrow. ABC has done so much from the days of the one who called himself Comrade now, who was basically a one-man show on ABC, to today that you have so much diverse shows. You have Pastor Commando's show, Pastor Victor, you have our Uncle, we have Secretary Mungwa's show that comes on to educate us on Tuesdays. You have, of course, The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. You have Tapa the King's show. I've forgotten some of them. You have the new show from Ma Rachel about community building. So we have so many shows on ABC Amber TV. It is such a powerful tool that we have gotten some of our talents. Barrister Fru is a frequent guest on ABC Amber TV. Barrister Tim Behesa with so much knowledge. Barrister Ghana, Professor Bridget Tebo. I don't want to forget some names. If I do, forgive me. But these are individuals that come and enlighten us about our quest for international recognition. They tell us about our history, because history is very important to know where you're going to. You have to know about your history to go on the right path to your final destination. So let's all come tomorrow. every single one. The theme, I believe, is 100% Ambazonians for ABC. So if you really, deep down in you, believe that Ambazonia is a country, you must give something tomorrow. You must. It doesn't matter how much you give, you must give something. That's why it's called 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV. 100% Ambazonian means you give something, whether it's $1 or $1,000, give something. Let your name be there on record that you supported ABC Amba TV. Please. Okay? So we conclude the show today. You've learned a lot from Professor Epote about the differences between stakeholders, the principal actor, communities, leaders. You've learned that the Hudson meeting was just a meeting held in that location. It was not organized by Hudson Institute. Otherwise, it would have appeared on their calendar of events. You've learned that people that call themselves comrades are working with the Fontem neighbors who are all basically interested in federation because that's their goal. Most importantly, you've learned that we are united under one umbrella as the interim government. We speak one language, and our president, President Sako, represents us and not a mixed bag of people that represent different communities. So I end by thanking you all. The Horizon will be back next Saturday and next Friday for another exciting show. And long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Short live the struggle. And our destination is there, and we'll get there soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is Ma Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amba TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed. How much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amba TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amba TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amba TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is Ma Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amba TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed. How much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amba TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amba TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amba TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much.
Sample Records.
Welcome to me.
Magical Hakeem on the beats.
Nakamediva na na na. Oh, bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bange mbozeo, bububiri etando. Bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bameta mbozeo. Dance to this marina. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. There's a song in my heart that I want to sing it out to you. Why the fight and the pain and the hate you're inflicting on your brother? Lesson no to tribalism, nepotism. Lesson no to bad energy, and embrace some love. To the cloud, to the one, let us live in harmony. Bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bange mbozeo, bumubiri etando. Bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bameta mbozeo. Dance to this marina. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Together we will make a better for the land and try to right the wrongs that were caused in the land. Lesson no to tribalism, nepotism. Lesson no to bad energy and embrace some love. To the cloud, to the wall, let us live in harmony. Love, 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 love is all we need.
Magical Hakeem on the beats.
Love, 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 love is all we need. Bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bange mbozeo, bumubiri etando. Bongo mbozeo, boshe mbozeo, bameta mbozeo. Dance to this marina. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule. Chaule, chaule, chaule.
Sample Records.
Welcome to me.
Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is my Patience Abedu. Did you know that ABC Amba TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amber TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amber TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amber TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is my Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amber TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amber TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amber TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amber TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is my Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amber TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amber TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amber TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amber TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, greetings. This is my Patience Abiedu. Did you know that ABC Amber TV Day is around the corner? Yes, it is on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The theme is 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV.
How much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide?
That means everyone, including you, including myself, is expected to contribute something to ABC Amber TV before or on that day. But you may wonder why this expectation. The reason is simple. Our national television is one of our most important weapons against La République du Cameroon. If we must be recognized as the 55th nation in Africa, we must keep our TV running uninterrupted. Therefore, it behooves each and every one of us to contribute something to ABC Amber TV. Please use the links that I mentioned in the public invitation notice. Also remember that ABC Amber TV is a 501c corporation and you may use your donation as a tax write-off. Don't be left behind in this 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amber TV campaign. Let the contributions begin. Thank you so much.